Hey Midwest Conference fans, I'm Paityn Tabor here on Midwest Conference Media Day, and right now I'm joined by Cornell College running back Tony Gomez. Tony, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, of course.
So excited to get to talk with you. My first question for you is, I'm just kind of curious, what are your personal expectations for the upcoming season?
Personal expectations, I know we brand new coach Dan Pfeiffer. This is third year, so we're kind of through that rebuilding stage at this point. So right now we're looking for results. We're looking to see what we can do moving forward. We're looking to really turn around the season, get a winning record, and surprise some people in the conference.
Yeah. Tony, if you had to pick one trait for what would make a good Division III football player, what trait would that be?
I would say passionate, because that's what D3 football is. You know, we're not on scholarship. We're not getting any reward. We're actually paying to play football, of course, through academic money and stuff. So I say you gotta be passionate about the game. You gotta be doing it because you love it. That's bottom line. That's where all the toughness comes from. That's where all the desire comes from. Because if you're not passionate to be there, you're not sticking around.
Yeah, and that's what makes it special too, in a little bit, right? Tell me a little bit about your team. What's the dynamic like in the locker room?
So for our team, the last few years I've been there, it's kind of changed a little bit. You know, we're a bunch of different guys coming from all over the country, of course. No one's really expecting what's going to happen. But I think we click really well. I think all the guys on the team really get along together well, and especially offense versus defense. You know, usually you think, oh, everyone's going against each other. But, yeah, we have that dynamic during practice where we're clashing heads the entire time. But after, off the field, in the classroom, and lunchroom, wherever we're at, everyone gets together really well. There's a lot of good team chemistry, and I think that's going to help us out a lot this year.
Yeah. Kind of going off that, what is your favorite part of Rams football?
My favorite part is just being able to go out there every day with the teammates I spend all day with, and everyone's passionate about the game. Everyone loves what they're doing out there. Everyone wants to be out there. Everyone's working hard. Everyone's joined together for this goal of winning that conference title. So,
yeah. And kind of speaking to the school a little bit more broadly, what's your favorite part about being a student athlete at Cornell?
My favorite part about Cornell College is probably just a small town atmosphere, because we have the University of Iowa that's about 20 minutes away from us. So we're in between Iowa City and Cedar Rapids. So if you want a little bigger town, you can go there. But being from Phoenix, I really wanted to go somewhere small town, and Cornell College on the hilltop. It's a really pretty area. I love being outdoors, love going fishing, love going to the state parks and everything. So you get the best of both worlds there. I love it.
Yeah. How was Cornell introduced to you, as being from further away?
So for me, it was one of our old coaches, Coach Weber, and also Coach Williams, who was running back coach at the time. They just reached out to me out of the blue, looked in the mail, had some recruiting letters from them. I was initially set to go somewhere else, but that kind of fell through the plan. So when I saw that, checked out Cornell, went on my visit, and right away I knew it was the spot for me.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. So you just kind of went on campus and you just felt it, you knew.
Yeah, it was about a week from the time I started getting the letters. I took my visit, and I committed right after that.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a great story. If Tony, if you had to pick, who do you think is one of the best leaders on your team? Who would you pick and why?
One of the guys I picked as a really good leader is Roman West. He's a linebacker for us. He's going in his junior year as well. But he's a linebacker D-line hybrid right now. But I mean, the guy really steps up to any occasion, any position you put him at. He's just yes sir, yes coach. He's a hard-nosed football player. He'll just get things done. I really respect him.
What have you been able to learn from him throughout your career?
One thing I've learned with him, I mean, he was my roommate last year for the second part of the semester, so we've really grown close together. But one thing I've learned from him is just different ways to be a leader on a team, because I'm more of just like strict. We're getting things done one way, certain way, disciplined guy. But Roman's really expanded my ways of thinking when it comes to just being a leader on the football field, leading by example, showing guys and telling guys, like, we can do this, we can get things done, and going with guys. So I really respect him for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Another thing, congratulations on your academic all conference award. That's awesome.
I appreciate that.
I was kind of curious because I know Cornell's academic setup is a little bit different than other colleges with their block plan. So I was like, how do you like it? Can you tell me a little bit more about kind of what your day-to-day life as a student looks like with that schedule?
Yeah, so personally, I really enjoy the schedule, because as you mentioned, the block plan. So we're taking 18 days is one class. So we're taking one class at a time as people talk about it. And it's nice because we have a 4-day break. We call it a block break. So in between that 4 day, I go with friends. So I went with my friend Silas, who's a wide receiver, tight end. I went with him to Wisconsin. I mean, I just go check out different areas. But going back to the block plan, I really enjoy that we get to focus on one class. So of course, on normal semester plans, you could have 4, even 5 classes a week, depending on what your schedule looks like, how many credits you're taking. And I mean, that can build up. You're taking organic chemistry with biochemistry with all this different stuff, Spanish, and everything's piled into one. It's kind of hard to maintain, like, all right, I gotta get this done. But at Cornell, you're taking one class. So pretty much all I have to do is I go to class for the 4 hours that I'm there for, whatever, organic chemistry, for biochemistry, whatever I'm in. And then that night, all I gotta do is homework for that, get practice, and all I have to think about is one thing. I don't have to think about all these different classes. I don't have to worry about all these different exams, homework assignments, all of that. So it's, especially being a student athlete, because it helps with time management a lot.
I bet that would just kind of help you create an even better balance between your school and your athletics and all of that stuff. That's awesome. My next question for you, Tony. Coach Pfeiffer he's turned around a couple of programs before he came to Cornell, and I was just sort of curious how you've seen your football program change throughout your time.
Especially at Cornell, I know we had some high expectations for Coach Pfeiffer, and I mean, he's living up to them, but I think it's been a little harder for him right now because his first year there, of course, it's always hard as a first-year coach, trying to get everyone around. Well, his first year was the COVID year, technically, so they didn't really practice, didn't do anything. I'm sure they had a hard time recruiting and everything. And then my freshman year, it was a little tough. I mean, trying to get guys around, trying to get things started and everything, especially after COVID year. I know a lot of teams struggle with that. Last year, we had a lot of injuries. I'm not trying to make excuses for a lot of people, but we had a lot of injuries. So we lost, I think, 11 starters total. We lost a lot of guys. And that's why I think we're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
That's exciting. I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you.
And so my next question for you. So last year you guys had a little bit more of like a two-headed attack on running back, and this year you might be carrying a little bit more of the load. So I'm curious, how do you kind of plan on handling those additional carries?
So this year I think it's interesting. I know we had Lacey last year, but he left. He went to a different school, transferred out. But we have some freshmen coming in that coach told me is pretty good. But we also have a transfer coming from Jackson State. And he seems like a pretty cool guy. And I'm hoping he can also split the carries again this year, because, I mean, you never want to rely on one guy. It's always good to get 2 different looks. And, I mean, it's hard being a running back. I know you see all the pros, they're demanding more money they want. But a running back's a liability position. It's tough. It's hard on your body. You got to be a workhorse, but it's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every time you get the ball, you're basically you get as far as you can, and then you're probably going to get tackled. Like, you're getting beat up all the time. What to you is Cornell football's identity?
So Cornell's football identity probably centered around our passion for the game, because you can see a lot during practice. I mean, guys are clashing heads, going at it, and I feel like sometimes we can be a little over the top, getting a little fights, but I mean, that's college football for you. But I really enjoy it. I know some guys like, oh, we need to calm down, but that's what builds a team. That's how we thrive, because everyone's so passionate about the game. Everyone loves what they're doing. Everyone's trying to get better. We're all going toward the same goal. But I think once we rally together, we had some activities over the spring, had some Navy SEALs come in, really get our heads aligned and stuff. That was a lot of fun. But I think that really helped us out, helped all the team come together, got a creed going. So I think the chemistry is going to grow a lot this year.
Kind of going off of that, Tony, I asked you earlier what your personal expectations for the season are, but I'm kind of curious, what are your expectations for your team going into this season?
I think our team has high expectations this year, especially Coach Pfeiffer being his 3rd, 4th year, whatever you want to call it. I think a lot of people are looking at us, just really wondering, like, this is the year to really show, like, who we are, who Cornell football is. I think a lot of the guys know that, like, this is the turnaround year where we start having that winning record, how we start growing in the conference, start being one of those teams talked about, like, they're contenders for the conference title, going to the playoffs and stuff. So I definitely think that's where the team's at right now.
Yeah. At the end of the season, what do you believe will define Cornell College's success?
I think we'll define. I think at this point we're more results driven, because a lot of it we've been wanting to be high execution, and we're still in that mindset where we want to execute well. But now it's going to come down to wins and losses. Are we going to win football games? How are we going to win football games? We got to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. and win a few of those matchups that teams don't expect us to win.
Yeah. Well, Tony, that's actually all I had for you today. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, and I wish you and your team the very, very best of luck this season. Truly.
Thank you for your time as well.